I'm going to be replacing this skirt, which you've seen in a few of my videos. I personally do not like any animal prints. I don't like zebra prints, giraffe prints, cheetah prints. I don't like animal prints. And this, to me, is a cheetah print. The reason I have this is because it was given to me. The reason I keep this is because it's comfortable and it dries quickly. And I could just throw it on and it's something to wear. It's basically a bathrobe for me. So I'm going to replace this. So I got to get the dimensions. And also, the only reason it fits me is because I have a hair tie keeping it tight at the waist. Otherwise it would just fall off. It would not. There's no way it would stay on. So I've been trying to find some fabric, and a couple of weeks ago I went to the fabric store and I found this fabric and I found this fabric, and I think this one is really nice, and I thought it would be really nice for this project because it's kind of like a green galaxy, and if anyone knows me, you know how much I love my galaxy prints. My space themes and everything. It also kind of looks watery, so like I might save it for something else. It is polyester and lycra, so I might use it for a swimsuit, but I'm concerned it might pill because it's a little soft. So there's this one option, and then I have this option, and I don't know the fiber content because the bolt did not come with a fiber content. Normally it does. This one did not. And I think this would look really nice in this style because it's a rectangle. And it's very pretty. I've got these beautiful, beautiful colors. And I think it would be very nice. It's also soft. So that's another option. And then a couple days ago I found this fabric at Walmart, and it's, let's see, it's 4 yards, and I think it's thin. It looks thick like this because it's folded up, but when I feel like just one layer, it's kind of thin, and it's very similar to this texture. This is more smooth. This is more fuzzy, but I think I'm gonna go with this just to make sure the pattern is going to be alright before I chop into these. I might make this skirt out of this fabric as well because it's very nice and that's what I bought it for, but for now I'm just going to go with this because it's kind of my favorite color. It's almost my favorite color, but I like this, so I'm going to use this, and these match really well, so that's a nice coincidence. Okay, so there's my fabric choice. I have to come up with a pattern. So for that, I'm going to measure this. I'm going to measure the bottom hem, because this is kind of a wrap skirt, but it's a half over. So it doesn't have any seams along the side. It's just open. And I like that because it's just the extra fabric and you don't have like the rough bump of a seam. So I'm just gonna measure the bottom diameter. .145 inches. So I put this on and made it as tight as I would feel comfortable. So now I'm just gonna measure this, and that is 33 inches. And for the length of this garment, let's measure how long this one is. This one is 30 inches. Oh, and I want to measure the waistband height here. Waistband height here is 3 inches. So what I'm going to do, it's going to be very simple. I'm going to cut a let's see. For the waistband, I'm going to cut a let's write this, waist band. I'm going to cut a rectangle that is, let's see, 34 inches wide by 6 inches tall. That'll be the waistband. 2 skirt panels at 40 inches plus seam allowance. So let's just do 41 inches. And then the width of the fabric. So that's probably going to be about 60. So now I'm just going to lay this out. I think I'll try to cut it out on here just to make my life easier. And I'm going to cut those pieces. We have a change of plans. I read the ticket wrong. And it is not 4 yards. It's 2 yards. So I'm going to use all of this fabric on this project. What I'm going to do, because I was like, I went like this and I'm like, that is not 4 yards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the waistband in 2 pieces, which is, that's okay. This is probably still, let's see how long this is. The widest is probably 60. Yeah, a little over 60. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my, I'm going to cut a 4-inch high strip along the top, and then I'm going to cut the rest of the fabric in half. Okay, so now I've got my pieces, and I've got to do some prep work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this fabric and sew the 2 skirt panels together, and then I am going to take the cover stitch machine that I have access to, and I'm going to cover stitch the bottom edge all the way around and then up the sides, because that's how they did it on my other garment. Let me go grab it. And it's just a cover stitch edge. So I'm going to go sew that middle seam like what they did here. Oops. And then do the edges. Except I don't think theirs is a middle seam. Actually, it is a middle seam, because you've got the tag right here, and then there's the seam. So it is a middle seam. Goodness. Holy smokes. Okay. It is the middle seam. So I've just got to sew this real quick before I can do the hem. Okay, so I've got my garment stitched together at the center. So now I just have to figure out what this overlap is going to look like, because this is too much fabric. This is just too much fabric. So I think I'm going to take it to our friend Sally and see what this is going to look like. Okay, so I've come over here to our good friend Sally to do some draping type things. And what I really want is I want it to overlap from the hip to the hip so that there's a complete front panel. And I have all of this extra fabric. Like, this is a lot of extra fabric. This is so much extra fabric from here to here. So I don't really want to put it in the skirt if I can, like, you know, use it for something else. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna have this fold, but like have it underneath so you can't see the lap. All the other extra. So now I've got to put a mark and then cut this off. Got this skirt panel all pieced together, and now I'm just gonna go through and I'm going to serge these two pieces together, because that way I can do a understitching with the cover stitch machine and it'll look really nice, clean, and professional. So I'm just gonna zip the seam up and maybe the end seams up on the serger. Yeah, also I'll sew the whole waistband together so that I can do the seam on the cover stitch. So I got the two pieces done. There's the skirt main section, and here's the waistband. I think the waistband turned out really, really nice. It's so tiny. Just so tiny. Just not stretched out. It's like 29 inches. Well, I guess that means it's only 4 inches short, 4 inches shy of what I wanted it to be. So it's okay. But I really like the way the stitch turned out. Again, this is going to be on the inside. There we go. The stitch is going to be on the inside. Here, let me show you what it looks like this way. So the cover stitch. Goodness. She wants to focus. Yeah, the cover stitch caught all of the serger, so it's extra strong. That's how they do it in normal clothing construction. Athletic wear. I've taken apart so many pieces of athletic wear and things that you kind of understand how things go together, even if you haven't like taken a class. So this is going to be like this on the inside, or on the outside, sorry. And I just have to, so you see how the front piece is now shorter? So I'm going to trim that back, so that way it wants to pull towards the back. I might run a stitch through it, stitch along the edge first so it doesn't shift. Now, that's the waistband. Now here's the skirt. This side with the seam is going to go under, and this side is going to go on top. So let me just mock that up real quick. So it's going to look like this. And the edge looks so nice and clean. So here's one of the corners, and the other one looks the same, but in reverse. So now, I think I'm going to cut that extra piece off of this, and then I just have to pin this to the skirt, and it's all done. It's very, very easy. I'm gonna stitch it with my sewing machine at a big length so I can pull the stitch out. When you put in a stitch that you are going to remove, it's called a basting stitch. Otherwise, I think it's called a stay stitch. So I'm just gonna leave enough space so that I can take it out easily without fighting everything. Now I gotta go take this to the other table. So now I want this to be the center back, right? Oh, I gotta trim it. Let's just go through and trim it. Okay. Okay, so now I've got to fold this in thirds, making sure I have the proper third on top. Looks just about right. I'm going to make it a little tighter though. There we go. And now I'm going to go through and pin these two edges together. And I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and sew the top two edges together with the basting stitch, just like I did on the waistband. Okay, so now it's all pinned up. The front flaps are overlapping. Now I gotta take that to the sewing machine. So I gotta find the center back, which is easy. I'm just gonna put these two sides together. And this is the center back. Here. And then I pinch this to find the center front. And then the sides. Now we gotta do the same on the waistband. I have the center back, but then I have to find the center front and then the sides. Okay. Now I'm gonna match these four corners with the four corners of the skirt. And then we're gonna get to the difficult part. Now I have to go through and find the middle of each of these. Now it's not going to want to stretch because I do have that basting stitch, but I have to stretch this waistband out so that this and this go together flat. I know it's asking a lot because it's literally twice as big as the other one, so it's not going to want to, but it has to. Now I've got everything pinned nice and semi-evenly. Now I gotta go to the serger and carefully sew this together and pull it as I'm sewing it so that it's nice and smooth. And I gotta be very careful not to break any of the pins and not to sew any of the folds wrinkled. It's gonna be very slow, but it's worth it. Okay, it's done. I got my label in. I cover stitched it, the hem, before I sewed it together, so now I could press it to get all the wrinkles out, but the wrinkles are probably going to come out the first time I wash it, so I'm just going to leave it. I think it looks halfway decent. It's cute. And it will fit me and I don't have to use a hair tie. So now I just got to see if it fits on Sally. It might not fit Sally, even though she's my size, because she is not squishy and I am. So let's see if she can fit on Sally. You hear some popping. Don't want to hear popping, but I might. Because that's the sound of threads breaking. It's one of the worst sounds, in my opinion. But I did everything on the serger and cover stitch, so the threads should theoretically stretch. Okay, okay. Nice. It fits. It fits our dear Sally. Let's see if it's, oh yeah. Okay. Okay, that's cute. Okay, let's do once round. I that, but I think it's okay for now. I don't like this. There's a pucker here and there's a pucker here. But I ran out of thread, so I can't fix it now, even if I wanted to. Okay, let's get it nice and centered. Okay, now that's centered on Sally. Okay. There we go. No, I gotta try it on. Let's see. See how she looks on camera. Oh yeah. Okay, so here's the skirt on me. I see it's got a little more shape. The front panel is going off to the side, kind of. But that's just the way it's gonna have to be. The waistband is actually fitting way better than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be way too tight and wanted to like roll over like this, but it's fitting. It's fitting. Quite nice. And it's a good length. It could be a little longer. But yeah. Let's see. Let's give this a little spin. Now, okay, I like it. I like it. Now, I made this skirt to be something to throw on when I don't want to get dressed properly, but I don't want to look like a bum. So I think it's definitely going to do its purpose. It's nice and soft, so if I sleep in it ever, it'll be comfortable. Yeah, I think it turned out really nice. I've been needing this. I'm definitely going to go through and fix some of the puckers eventually. I don't like them. I think they look cheap. But they happen because the waistband doesn't want to stretch as much as this fabric. I could solve that making the waistband bigger, but honestly, if it was bigger, I feel like it would slide off. So it is what it is. So thanks for watching this week's video. I really appreciate everyone who takes the time out of their day to watch my videos. If you want to leave a comment into what I should do with this extra fabric, I do have a bit of it, you know. Maybe it'll make a cute top. I don't know. So there's something here. Yeah, so thanks so much for watching. I'd like to extend a big shout out to all 54 of my subscribers. Welcome to the 2 of you. See you in a couple of weeks. Bye! Also, I can't really go outside because it's raining. So you're going to have to deal with that as your final result. Sorry, I wish I could give you better ones, but I might wear this in a future video. So bear with me until then.